basically you gave me damage and I gave you menus. That's our archetypes.
I also discovered that the ancient sword is bugged in this game. It doesn't hold enemies, it lowers their agility. It lowers enemies' agility, which does nothing.
Agility doesn't do anything?
Yeah, enemy agility apparently is completely...
It's actually a reference to Final Fantasy 1.
Every goddamn Final Fantasy bugged up the ass.
First of all, I actually started playing Advance, at FF5 Advance, on my own time. First of all, the game lets you press R and L in the menus to switch party members. It's pretty fucking nice.
It's pretty fucking good, yeah.
The emulator I'm using lets you set the audio quality to 44 kilobytes per second, so the music actually isn't that bad. The monk is a really neat class because it just gives you a bunch of abilities that pretty much work well with anything else. Like chakra, because it heals freaking status ailments. Focus is just big damage. I like how it really makes you work to learn kick, and then by the time you do get it, you're like, I don't care anymore.
It's really not good.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, kick is just kind of bad.
Once you have the second crystal's load of jobs, it's hard to, like... Only pick 4.
Yeah.
Which is obviously a good sign in terms of the design of this game. It's like when you're at Dunkin' Donuts, except it's not really because they only have, like, one type of donut by the time you get there. And you're like, well, I guess I'll just have that one. It's like when you go to a good donut place and you're like, can't decide.
There's a Berserker donut in here.
I choose 7 glaze and 13 chocolate.
That's a lot. Okay.
Even though there's more quality of life in the GB, I do like how many more menu options can be on the screen at a time on this big CRT television. How much money does that... Oh my fucking god! They're not even dead.
Giltoss is just straight up overpowered. I don't find the music that bad because I played Advance first, like most people in America did.
Yeah, when you come from this and you play it with the original audio, it's kind of hard to listen to, but when you turn up the quality, it's just different.
Throwing scrolls.
Throwing money and scrolls. What is this, feudal Japan? Oh wait, it kind of is, because every JRPG has to have on-the-nose references to Japanese culture.
I like that Sid and Mid walk out of this meteor, and they're just like, monsters are in there. And not only is it one monster, but they don't even say, like, go take care of them. They just say, there's monsters in there.
There's a snake in my boot.
Also, Titan is why a summoner is one of the best jobs, because you are forced to get it, and it's useful for the entire game, and there's an armor that you can buy for the summoner that increases earth damage by 50%, and Earthshaker, or Titan, already does a fuck ton of damage.
It's like permanent Fat Chocobo. I was using Summoner, and the first 2 times I used Chocobo, it was Fat Chocobo, and I was like, wait, is that the normal thing? I can't remember what...
Nope, you just got super fucking lucky.
Shiva.
Yeah, there you go.
Frogs. I like the red frog. It reminds me of, like, Super Mario World.
It still works. It doesn't heal from nearly that if you kill it.
That's probably an extreme... That's like an extremely esoteric, like, out-of-context Final Fantasy moment. Is one party member gets turned into a frog, screams at another party member to heal him. You got frog song, bro.
You got the frog song.
Tag your friends to frog song.
It's like the beginning of like a Disney show. Dude, we got frog song. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like pans into the house. That's just like the inciting incident of Act 1. Jared got frog songed and I didn't.
Jared, you have to give him frog song.
You have to use the chalk.
I'm not giving him. I'm only giving him frog song if he gives me the chalk.
I don't know. What are you talking about? Jerry, I need you.
I need you.
I need you.
Does the text scroll like one letter at a time?
I don't even remember.
Because it doesn't. It appears all at once in Pixel Remaster, and it makes it look like a fucking like fan game or something. I don't know why. It just does.
Do you know about the Mambo de Chocobo mini CD? I guess it was released as promotional material around when this came out. And the main track is just a live recording of Mambo de Chocobo. The other tracks are all unused music from this game. There's 3 unused tracks that aren't actually in the game. They're only on the CD.
Are they like battle songs? Does it give any indication of what they were supposed to be for?
Yeah, the name, like there's one called Hear You Mountain, which was probably supposed to be for North Mountain, but it sounds more like the 4 Warriors of Dawn. So it's really dramatic rather than like driving.
This island kind of looks like a mixture of Carbuncle and Among Us.
I'm not even looking at him.
How could you? Look at him.
Whoops.
Dead.
You know Rocco from Mega 64?
Yes.
I remember on a podcast he was saying that he doesn't actually have a legal middle name at all. When he was in like high school, he wanted to change it to something like Rocco X-Death Bodhi or something. Just something from Final Fantasy.
That would be so lame.
But that's the point. It's so lame that it's cool again. I was watching some videos about Final Fantasy VIII, and it's actually really funny how like each of the individual mechanics in the game are neat, but they all work against each other extremely harshly.
Yeah, they did way too much in that game.
Like using spells, and then you don't want to use spells because it'll lower your stats because you use up the spell and it's equipped to your stat.
I remember when I first heard, because basically the first thing I ever knew about Final Fantasy VIII was watching Spoonie's review of it, and I was like, oh, spell drawing definitely seems annoying, but it's like, once you get it to 100, that's like it, right? Like, it's a percentage, it's not, like, you know, once you have 100%, you just have it. But no, it's the amount of casts that you can have. You have 100 cures, and I was like, oh, that's the worst shit ever.
Except it doesn't even matter, because you just GF every battle. The fact that they went the lazy route and basically tried to auto-balance the game by, like,
scaling
monsters. That really shot them in the ass, because it just means you steamroll the game because you get so much juice out of them.
Yes.
And also you don't even get money from enemies, apparently you just get a salary.
Yeah.
And the way you increase your salary just by answering fucking trivia questions.
See, Galoof just runs past these idiots.
What is this?
This is nothing. I don't know what this room is for.
Oof. What is that? Just fucking... Are you Guile now? Just... Are you... You can charge it before he says go, so you just go Sonic Boom when he dies.
Yeah, round start Sonic Boom.
X-Death knew he had to kill Galoof after he realized EX Sonic Boom could be FADC'd and he could just chase it. Spoilers, by the way. Galoof is Guile. When you would reply to Tumblr posts, you could edit the parent stuff, like in forums.
Oh,
so someone replied to just a thing that was like, America does not know the joy of Terry's chocolate orange. And it was just an argument, and then it just edited it to be gibberish.
Oh god, I'm gonna die. What the hell? How the fuck did I lose that? Yeah, you see? Carbuncle Among Us. It's like tilted sideways.
It looks like a ninja.
Alright, see if you can beat him this time.
I don't think it's possible.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Hey, you did it.
Oh.
Nice.
Wait, what? I thought he just would have like a 10,000 HP. Dun 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 dun. Whoa, Mode 7 has been applied to this scene.
This is now a 100% run of Final Fantasy V. That's not true. I think we missed a piano. Wait, I want to point something out about this scene.
Oh, it's Gilgam. Wait, that's what he looks like on the overall? He looks like a Terraria character.
I wonder if there's a relation.
Nah.
Okay, wait, look. Bartz comes up to the... watch X-Death.
Whoa.
Fucking does like a 1080 to throw a fucking fireball at Bart's ass.
Full anime. You just have to be patient.
Crap.
I think I said crapped.
Like with a T at the end.
I thought the exclamation was like T.
Yeah, that's what's supposed to happen. This fight's supposed to be easy. I don't know how I fucked it up. Okay, this part where Bartz is like, oh, now I gotta sneak. There's no point to that.
Can I go back and sneak? You just do up and down, you're like the Grinch.
What?
A few days ago, I watched through Golden Boy.
Is that show with the ridiculous dub?
The main character is dubbed well, at least. It's just a 6-episode OVA. Apparently, it's based on a manga. The Wikipedia calls it a sex comedy, but I mean,
the main character's like a sex pervert, right?
Well, yeah, basically, he's motivated purely by carnal desires, but then he ends up being like the golden boy is the whole point. But it's really good. It's only 6 episodes, but...
The only thing I know about it is the swimming scene, where he's like drowning, he's like...
How do you like my swimming?
Yeah, that guy is so good at screaming. It's really funny. It's really well animated. It's just fucking beautiful to look at. It has like really well animated like action scenes. There's a few action scenes, like the bicycle race, where he's like fucking grapple hooking on shit and riding on power lines. It's just like really, just the whole thing is really fun to watch. It's really funny. You should all watch it, and you should too.
Why? I can't believe you're telling me to watch an anime. This feels really out of place.
I don't want to say a bunch of stuff because honestly, the payoff at the end is so good. I don't even want to like spoil anything.
Okay. It's just an actual sex scene. Have you ever thought about watching Fooly Cooly?
No.
Heard that show's good. I watched the first episode of it when I was like 10 at our grandmother's house. That was fucked up. That show was fucked. No, it's just fucking weird.
This was randomly on my YouTube homepage and it was for free, so I randomly watched 8 Crazy Nights.
You mean the
Adam Sandler animated Christmas movie.
About like Hanukkah or some shit?
Yeah, it's just about like the holidays. It's actually not. It's not as bad as I expected.
Is it even considered bad? I don't even know.
I don't know. It's animated pretty well. There's that. The message at the end isn't completely like a cliche. Oh, now I know the meaning of Christmas. It's actually a little different. And then I also started watching a third thing. I started watching the Ghost Stories dub.
Yeah. Ghost Stories is fucking awesome.
It is really good.
The story about the backstory of that dub is that what everybody says about it is that like they made that dubs they told the voice actors to do whatever because they knew it wasn't going to do well.
Yeah, apparently like bombed in Japan. It was supposed to be like a kids anime in Japan.
So apparently that's not even true. The show was like actually popular in Japan.
Oh, really?
Apparently.
It's like the Final Fantasy story. It's like it's just the story that sounds good.
I'm only saying this because following that I want to say that I don't give a shit. The dub is really fucking funny.
Yeah, it's just that the novelty never runs out for some reason.
It's always throwing new absurd shit at you. Yeah, they're always saying new ridiculous things.
It really is. Like, for some reason, the thing that made me laugh the hardest was just a scene starts and some like random extra character that never appears and never will appear again is talking to class, and he just says,
"The V on my sweater stands for very big deal, but that's beside the point."
What?
I think the most quoted thing in that did you watch the whole thing?
I'm like 3 episodes away from beating it.
Have you seen the rabbit?
Yeah, that I actually remember that was like the one clip I saw.
Yeah, that's probably the most known thing is it's not it will never work between us, not because you're a rabbit but because you're black.
There was one scene and I think it's Leo's mom is yelling at him and they just like loop they just loop a sound file like 8 times. It's just like
Leo, 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 God damn it, God damn it, God damn it, God damn it.
And I was laughing like 5 minutes residually after that happened.
That show is so fucked.
I assume that the biggest like comparison people would make to it is it's like an official abridged type thing.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
But even then, it isn't really, because supposedly, from a random comment I saw, like they were instructed to keep the plot intact, which they do.
They kind of do.
They do it surprisingly well while inserting their own canon, like Leo being Jewish, which they surprisingly get a lot of mileage out of.
Yeah, they do.
Like when he's like kneeling beneath the cat, and the cat's like, "Get up! I can't stand to see the Jews suffer anymore."
One of my favorite. Okay, this is like a really like stupid joke to like, but I really like how Wait, is Leo the kid with the big lips, or is he the little kid? Okay, no. The little kid, how the little kid's like character trait is it just screams everything incoherently. He's just always like
there's the one like specific clip that they randomly will play interspersed while he's in the scene.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, exactly.
Satsuki, Leo's having a Tanaka pack. What?
There's also that one. Okay, another clip. Okay, the very first clip I ever saw of the show was where the main guy and main girl are like running down the road, and the guy is like, "A police station! Thank God! I've never been so happy to see the police." And then they run in and they just start screaming incoherently. And but it's not like the guy actually is like, he's like like he actually sounds like he's saying something.
Yeah, I think I remember. Yeah, they do like the gibberish thing sometimes. Like, there's a scene where like a bunch of people are listening to a radio and the radio's like, "And singing Seki Meki Deki 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 Deki," and all the people are like, "Yeah."
I don't give a shit if the fucking like, if the dub hating people hate that shit.
I feel
that
like
show
there's
is
no way-
legitimately funny.
There's no way the dub hating people could look at that and be like, "Oh man, they really went off the mark."
But they
Like,
do.
It's so.
They say that shit. They'll be like, the Ghost Stories dub was a disgrace.
Well,
They did not do the show. It's like, who gives a shit?
I mean, it's
don't
one
know.
out of like a bajillion animes that get produced every year.
It's a generic fucking Monster of the Week
Yeah.
show. Who gives a
It's
fuck?
not. It's not even like a good monster of the week. It's like kind of lame monsters.
There's also the thing where the older girl is just like a devout Christian,
Yeah.
which is just weird.
Yeah, that's another example of they like are able to keep the story of the original show and add surprisingly coherent like canon jokes of their own.
I remember there was one. I don't even know if this counts as a joke. There was just like, there's a part where there's like some nurses and they just are talking in a Hispanic language for some reason. Like, I don't even know if they're subtitled. They're speaking like Spanish or Portuguese or something.
There is a scene where just characters just start speaking Spanish and then stop. But I feel like even if you don't like anime, you could get a lot of entertainment out of it because you could just see it as like a mockery of anime.
I feel like it's most entertaining for people who
Yeah.
are like at best ambivalent towards anime.
Because last time we were talking about how being meta too much is like just gets old.
Mm-hmm.
But that show actually does pretty like it does it
well.
It does it a decent amount, but it doesn't overdo it. And plus they'll even poke fun at themselves for like breaking the fourth wall too much.
Yeah.
Like there's a scene that starts with Leo just like screaming something and his lips are moving really fast and he just says like, "What the hell even is this? I've never even had to dub lips that move this fast."
Yeah, I remember that. That was a show that I was legitimately bummed out when it was over. I was seriously like, man, I've like, even though this is a joke show, I've actually gotten attached to these characters.
There's a coherent thought here I'm trying to get out about Ghost Stories, which is that just the circumstances behind it make the novelty just last forever for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like with a bridged series, sometimes... Because with a bridge series, often they'll like change the plot pretty heavily just for the sake of comedy. Or like with live dub type things, they'll just do it off the cuff. And it's clear in Ghost Stories they are making a lot of stuff up as they go along. Like it's professional voice actors and they're actually trying to like tell the story.
They are actually voice acting well.
Yeah, they're voice acting well and they're like making an attempt to tell the same story. For some reason it's just a perfect storm.
Recently, the Ghost Stories has been put on like Blu-ray.
Really?
Like really recently.
Oh wow.
In the past like couple months. It either has been or is going to be, and it has the Japanese subs, or Japanese and English dubs. Joke dub, obviously.
So what I read, they said that in Japan it was marketed toward kids.
I would believe
So
that.
when you sell the DVD where you have the Japanese dub where it's for like adolescent teens or whatever, and then you have the English dub where they're just saying fucking
Yeah, they're
slurs left and right.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It's like when you play Persona 1 and there's a black guy.
What? Adam showed me this show called, I think it's called Crime Scene Kitchen. And it's like any other, like the overall premise is just like any other fucking cooking show where there's a bunch of people that have to make a thing. But they're all put into this like crime scene, but it's like you have to look around and see like what foods and utensils were used that were to make a food, and then you have to deduce what was made and then make it. And it's kind of a cool setup because it's like they'll put in like red herrings, like they'll put in
That's a food.
it's like they're that's true. They'll put in like stuff like obvious shit, it's like, oh, the cheese grater was used. It was grinding up like cheese or whatever, so the recipe has cheese. But there's also stuff like in the fridge, there's a box of like strawberries, but the strawberries weren't opened, so you have to actually consciously know, okay, there are not strawberries in this, which the contestants do fuck up. The biggest thing about it is that the host is extremely unfunny. It is actually hard to watch the show because of how unfunny the host is. He's just constantly making shitty jokes, and it's like, and the editing is like doing a really bad job of hiding how much contempt everyone has for him. Because he'll say like some shitty joke is like, oh, everybody finally finished their dish. I hope it doesn't suck. And then it'll like cut to all the contestants, and there'll be like a second pause, and they'll be like, ah ha 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 ha.
Yeah. God, editing in reality TV is like the most cancerous thing.
It really is. I would say that World 2 is probably the least fun this game is overall, because you're not getting any jobs. You don't get any new jobs like that you get in World 1. You don't get any of the cool weapons and summons and shit that you get in World 3. So
it almost feels like World 2 is like this chapter that's dedicated for like story, when this game's story really isn't something that should be like
emphasized. Yeah, exactly.
When RPG has really good gameplay and a story that you're probably not going to care about, it's preferable that it's doesn't take itself seriously. Graces.
I had a feeling you were going to bring that up. I still like Graces' story.
I mean, here's the thing. I don't think the story is really very good, but the characters and their interactions kind of make it.
That's true.
It's like a comedy. Like, if you're writing a comedy around people falling over and into spikes, it's probably not going to be that good. But if you know you have funny characters with funny interactions, it's going to be funny.
That's why Tales of Arise like irritates me so much, is because the story is shit and also the characters are horrible.
They also were ugly.
That too. There are no anime, like 2D anime versions of the characters.
Yeah.
In Arise, and that... It's like the game is embarrassed to be a JRPG.
But there's another thing, like, talking about Golden Boy and Ghost Rider and everything, it's like, I'm talking about it now, but like, these things have been around for so long, I have no idea like what's been said to death and what hasn't been, you know?
Yeah, for us who don't watch... Well, anime or just TV in general, it's like a novel thing.
It's like... you have to wonder if you're like, you watch Star Wars for the first time, it's like, dude, when he said he was his father, dang, that was crazy. I don't know, is anybody else seeing this shit?